So first of all, this is where my psychology background came in. That was very helpful.
Sitting and listening to you, one thing which is coming to my mind is you have the leadership of chaos, a managed chaos wherever. So
Yes.
and I think
Yes,
that is a
that's
different.
interesting.
That leadership is very dynamic, and that has to be very on the toe every time, all the time, on your game every time, all the time. You can't have
Right.
3 good years and then take a relaxed year one, and then mixing so many different elements of different varied business to coming together. What's your observation in terms of just taking one example of that's Brotherhoods of St. Lawrence, that you had varied subdivisions within the organization, and if you can explain that the idea of the dynamic leadership, that you have to have so many things going in your head at the same time, and then looking longer term and short at the same time.
That's interesting. So first of all, this is where my psychology background came in. That was very helpful. Because you have to look at the dynamics, the organisational dynamics of the board and the leadership team, the executive, right? And who is the CEO? And the CEO changed 3 times when I was there. And then look at who your colleagues are around the table and look at... so for me, what I saw was a lot of people that were not taking up I would have said, not taking up their role. They were not being independent. They were running to the CEO quite a lot. And we're all in our silos. But I had 4 silos, and there was the one I knew the most was aged care and disability. The other 2 areas I had to learn a bit more, HR and maintenance, and property maintenance, property, etc. But and so I think, look, number one is, when I mentor people, I just say to them, you need to know who you are and where your strengths and weaknesses are and where you think you might need assistance, not being afraid to ask for that. It comes from a number of years of actually trialling stuff and working out what's not going to go right and not putting yourself down if it doesn't go right. I do a lot of self-talk. I give myself, that could have gone better, Sandra, or geez, you did a really good job of that, because you can't expect anybody to do that for you. Sometimes there are people in leadership who are waiting for somebody to pat them on the back, and the more senior you get to CEO's level, no one does that. You might have a chairman that doesn't do that. You might have a number of people that do that, but you actually are quite I think you have to be quite self-contained. Doesn't mean you can't ask for help. But you need to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, and for a leader, I'm about to go on a long break. Now, I haven't had a holiday for a while. When a leader says, I've got to have that break, I'm really burnt out, big red alarm signals go off for me, because why did you allow yourself to get like that? What were your points what were your signs and signals that were going to tell you that you actually need to have a break?